Hi, this is Emily Ionelli. How are you guys? I was just in the mood to do a video. I've been feeling a little depressed, and when I feel down, I try to keep my mind busy. I've been writing a little bit today. I've gotten back into writing on my poetry website, and sometimes I try to express how I feel on a video. So I'm just trying to survive each day. I get bored sometimes. I'm worried about my son. And sometimes I feel like I don't know. Sometimes I don't want to go on, but I have no choice. I have to help my son, and I gotta try my best to survive, right? So they say we only get one chance at life. So I'm trying, I really am. I don't really have a lot to look forward to, it seems. I was hoping that my son would have gone further in school, but unfortunately, because of his illness, that's not likely. I'm not going to lose hope in my son. Obviously, I will always believe in my son. It's just heartbreaking. But I'm trying to be realistic, and I know, which is really not easy for me, easier said than done, but, the reality which is hovering over me is having Matthew placed in a group home. And I know it's probably the best thing for him, but it's very psychologically difficult for me. I struggle with depression, I'm transgender, possibly autistic, and heartbroken. Plus, I'm not working. I have a lot of free time, so in my free time, when I'm not taking Matthew to his doctors or I'm not going to mine, I take Matthew 2 days a week to his day program, and pretty much I just hanging around. I watch TV, movies, I write, just trying to live each day as best I can. Though I am bored, I do have some good friends from my high school days, and I have some friends I hang out with as well. Not too many, but I do. I don't really have any connection socially anymore. Like, I'm not in any support groups. I used to go, but I got discouraged. And I'm hoping, really, the only thing I'm really looking forward to is the transgender surgery. But even that's kind of up in the air because of my mental thing going on, depression, plus the fact that I need to provide proof to the surgeon team that I have a good aftercare program in place. So they said it's going to be like 3 months of recovery. The truth of the matter is, if I don't have the surgery, I don't have the surgery. What am I going to do? I'm 58, 2 years away from 60. I've gone this long without surgery, so it's another 5, at most 10 years. If I got this far without it, I can go at least another 5 to 10 years without it. And I hope to God that I don't live past that. I'm 58 already, and I'm just like, enough already. Why do I have to go through this BS? I mean, I know people who are sick and, they cherish their lives. They got so much to live for. For me, I don't really have that much to live for anymore. Obviously, my son I have to live for. But, you know, all of the things I had hoped for my son, don't seem to be reality. So Yeah, I'm heartbroken, to be honest with you. And I did seriously try to end my own life, my misery, my pain. Uh, in January 2019, 2 days before my 58th birthday, I overdosed with the intention of taking my life. I was very depressed. I still am depressed. But it's hard when you're depressed without hope. Everybody needs to be strong emotionally. You know, as I get older, I worry more and more. Just like my mom. My dad, he worried, but in a different way. You know, he used to drown his pain and sorrows in the bottle. And he worked hard, you know, and he lost his wife, and he had to play two roles growing up. It was not so easy. But I guess these are cards you dealt with in life, and you try to make the best of it. What else can you do? I wish things could be better. Maybe it would change my outlook on my own life. But I can't just magically snap my fingers and everything's going to be fine, because it's not. Life is hard and painful sometimes. You know, I had some friends back in high school. One in particular, I'll just say his name was Scott. He was a good friend of mine. And sadly, he died in a car accident. He was only 17. And I often wonder about my poor friend Scott. You know, I always felt bad, like when I'm not feeling so good emotionally and I'm depressed. I always think back to my friend Scott, and I say, you know, Scott didn't even have a chance at life. He died at a young age. He never got to experience what we've all experienced after our graduations from high school. Most of us got married, we went to college, graduated, we worked in our chosen careers. We eventually got married, have children, and we're seeing our children grow up, and some are graduating college now. Some are even getting married. And my poor friend Scott, he never experienced that. He died at a young age. He was only 17 in a tragic car accident. And I often wonder why this happens to some of us, taken away so young. Even my nephew, 26 years old, died of an overdose. Life can be frustrating, and it can be difficult and very emotionally painful. You know, I'm not gonna lie, you know. Sure, I try to present an image where I'm happy as, you know, and, you know, I can't always wallow in my self-pity and my depression. But the reality is that I am very depressed, you know. Life for me is a very emotional and difficult, painful reality. You know, I was very naive. I really was growing up. First of all, I never knew what was going on with me. All I knew was I was different. And I didn't know what to do about it. It was very hard for me. And it's not easy to feel different. You know, I tried my best to fit in. I tried my best, you know, I did. I really did. I wanted to succeed. I wanted to do everything possible to be strong, despite all the heartache, despite all the pain and the misery. Because I looked at others, and some of my friends are extremely successful. They're doctors, lawyers, actuaries, they have good lives. They live in nice houses, they drive nice cars, they've put their kids to college. You know, they've achieved true success. You know, I graduated college, I studied engineering, then I shifted over to accounting because I was having too much difficulties in my junior year. I always wanted to be a mechanical engineer. It wasn't in the cards though for me. I did love math and science and physics and calculus and technical thinking and problem solving. And as much as I loved it, I wasn't mature enough, or I wasn't emotionally ready for the arduous task of studying constantly. I was in the library, I was studying hard, I was doing the best I could in my labs, and it was hard because I had transferred from home, which was what I was used to, and now I'm in a big campus setting down in Virginia, a school I really loved, Virginia Tech, and if I had it to do all over again, I would probably do the same thing. Though I think it might have gone a little better if I started at Virginia Tech to begin with, in their engineering program. But then I went to Hofstra, and I pursued an accounting degree, and I'm happy, you know. But, you know, I didn't really get to do what I really truly wanted to do. So that was a disappointment. And I was very shy. I never dated. I was too afraid, you know. I was really too afraid because I didn't feel right. I wasn't happy. I was struggling with my gender identity. I was struggling seeing my mom and my dad suffering, and in their own difficult times, they tried to do their best, and they always put us ahead of their own needs. But life wore on them, and they both got very sick. And now I'm seeing that in my own life. You know, sure, I wish I could have put my son through college. I would have been so happy, you know. I'm proud of my son, I really am. But the fact is that my son isn't really in a situation where he can take care of himself. And it's devastating, it really is, coming to that reality. And I cry, you know. What can I do? My life isn't perfect. I wish I could have done better. But I can't. And I'm jealous of other people, how their lives have turned out so well. You know, and obviously we're all gonna die. And I'm dealing with some friends who are very sick. And it's hard, you know, I try to say the right things. You know, I might be naive, but I know that when people are struggling, you try to use encouraging words, and you try to pretend that everything's going to be fine. You know, even if you're not sure. And that's sometimes why I don't even want to go on, because I'm too depressed. Life isn't supposed to be this way. It isn't. You know, we're supposed to be having our 40-year high school reunion. You know, I did a post on the high school reunion website. You know, I wanted to wish my fellow classmates well. You know, and, you know, I hope they have a wonderful time. But I'm scared to go because I don't know how I'm going to be received by others. You know, and not a lot of people really understand what it's like for someone who's transgender, you know? It's not an easy thing to go through. And people think it's all in your head, but it's not. It's a struggle. Believe me, it is. Because I struggled with it. And I knew at a very young age that I was different. Why would I make something like this up? And the reality is that a lot of people, even my family, my sisters particularly, some family relatives, they don't get it. They don't understand. And they just they kind of ignored me. They don't, they don't want to be involved anymore. Life is not easy for me. I go through the motions. I try to present a happy image. I try to write, keep my mind busy. And, I'm going to my own doctors and therapists, and I'm taking my son to his. And, I don't mind having the quiet time. I don't mind being by myself. But on an everyday basis, it wears on you, It's like, what am I doing? And then, people suggest maybe get into voluntary work or part-time work. The problem is I am on long-term disability and social security disability. And if I work in any capacity, I believe that my long-term disability, which is through a private insurer, will cease. Because you're supposed to be honest and you're supposed to report when you work. And I'm not mentally capable right now to throw myself into a stressful accounting position. Not with all of the issues I'm dealing with, specifically with Matthew. Also with me. I go to doctors for a reason. I've tried to kill myself 3 times, maybe 4. I've been depressed for a long time. I've been transgender for a lifetime. I've been heartbroken. I lost both my parents to illness, depression. My father committed suicide. My mother stopped eating in a hospital setting. Sometimes I wonder what's the whole point, I don't know. All I know is I'm trying to go on as best I can. That's all I can do. Life is hard. I remember when my son was born, I had so many thoughts and wishes for him. I envisioned him graduating one day, going on to college, being truly happy, finding something he loves, socializing with friends, both boys and girls, young men and women. But that's not happening, and I can't will it to happen. I can't force it to happen, So it seems to me that he'll be living in a group home for the rest of his life. And I only hope that he'll be properly cared for, because at this point he's not able to make it on his own. And that hurts me. Sometimes I wonder why we have to live like this. Why do I have to live like this? I didn't just say overnight I wanted to transition. This was a long thing, a long time. It was in me, basically. And I truly believe that I was born like this. I didn't make this up. Why would I? Why would I want to live in such a difficult situation, You think I just made this up? I wish it was like that, then I could just walk away from it. And I tried. I even tried to go back and detransition, and that was a total failure for me because I was miserable. I was truly miserable, and I can't do that again. And I just have to be strong. Alright, maybe surgery's not in the cards for me. If it is, I'll be happy. If it's not, I'll have to try to go forward without being able to do it. It's not like I'm trying to radically change my life. I'm just trying to do something that I've always felt I needed to do. I'm not brainwashed or anything. I knew I wanted to do this since I was 16, and then in my 20s, my 30s, even my 40s. And then I came out in my 50s. So this was a lifelong struggle, This was a lifelong struggle. And it seems that it will be with me till my dying day. I don't even want to think about that. But that is a reality that I will have to face. We all will have to face one day. And as scary as it seems, I just hope it's as simple as closing your eyes, stop breathing, and just hope you go to a better place. Because this is not the better place. It may seem nice, it may seem fun at times, it may seem happy, but it's sad, it's difficult, it's emotional. We have our goods, we have the good things, we have the bad things. For everything that we're happy about, there's something that we're sad about. It's always been that way. This may be some kind of a difficult thing. I sincerely try to be the best that I can be. I'm 58 now, 2 years away from 60. I don't even want to even think about what it's going to be for me at 60. I ignore those phone calls. I'm so sick of them. And I hate that ring. It's awful. They're all a bunch of scam artists anyway.
Hello?
So.
Yes.
I have to go.